I think people's recent behaviour on social media has massively impacted our residents at Cosgarn Hall. They're afraid to go out. They're very aware that there's vigilante groups. They're very aware that when they go in town, it's kind of a get in, get it done, get back out again, because they don't want to be hanging around in town. When they are hanging around in town, I've noticed when doing our ASB patrols that when they are hanging around in town, they just get stared at by groups of people who automatically judge them for doing something wrong when all they're actually doing is standing talking to someone while waiting for the bank or something completely menial. And yeah, they Cosgarn's their home. It's where they live, it's where they get support. For some of them it is their only support network, and they just feel like they're terrified it's going to be shut down, because what do they do then? Where do they go? Who do they talk to? They have nothing else, a lot of them. I think it's dangerous for residents of Cosgarn Hall. I think it's dangerous for the homeless community. I think it's dangerous for anyone of any supported accommodation within St Austell at the moment. A lot of residents, whether they are or are not with us, are under safeguarding for various reasons. Some are fleeing domestic violence, like quite very traumatic domestic violence. I think staff are very on edge about the whole situation. We're very aware that we have a duty of care towards all the residents. We're getting abuse about just going to work, being at work, driving around in our marked vehicles. We're getting abuse from the public because we're doing a job.
They drove by us. There was a couple of people in the car and they drove by us, and they threw a bottle of liquid at us when we stood talking and just shouted out, calling us junkies. And then they basically we just carried on chatting, and the car turned around at some stage, came back down the road and threw a bottle of orange juice at us then, and that went, it covered me. You know, they're not wrong about there's idiots in town, and they're going, you know, they're shooting up in stupid places, no respect for nobody. But that ain't this place, mate. I can say that. You know, it's just all right here. If it wasn't, then I wouldn't say such things. You know, but a lot of it as well is disinformation, and ultimately we're getting the finger pointed at Cosgarn Hall, which is completely, they can't get it more out of context if they tried. There's bikers from out of town, you know what I mean? That's not good. I don't want to end up in the back of a van on Bodmin Moor, you know?
Well, basically, like the other day, obviously, I was approached by this woman. She basically came up to me, apologised for singling me out and stereotyping me. She was saying about people drinking down the road and that. Obviously, just said that some of my people drinking there, there's obviously their language and things like that, and cleaning up after them. But yeah, I mean, I kindly informed her it's not really anyone actually from up here. But to be honest, I try not to go to town as much as possible, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, that's because there's always been a bit of stigma when you live up here, like in town and that. People, if they know you live up here, they do treat you different. But like, obviously lately, I mean, everyone's been just constantly going on about how things has changed and that, and how people like it seems to be like it's almost like persecution, like, for living somewhere. And you've been told with the same brush as some of these people that ain't got no respect for the local area, which most of us do. Like, so, well, when there's certain things when you hear about like bikers and that going around, like, yeah, I mean, there's a certain level of intimidation in it. Like when you think that maybe one day you might walk out here and there's going to be like 50 bikers or something sat outside the gate waiting. It's like, well, like you do feel like you're kind of stuck here, but like I say, I don't really go anywhere anyway, so it doesn't bother me that much. But I think people really do need to realise most people up here have actually got more respect than what they're being given credit for, isn't it? So most people up here have actually got good heart. You know what I mean? The mind's in the right place, heart's in the right place. It's just they're not. If you know what I mean. So I mean, I try to tell them that not to worry about it so much. But what are you going to do, innit? You're going to sit there and be thinking about it. I know there's certain people here, it's literally when they're sat in the night time and it's all chilled and that, even behind the locked electric doors here, they're still frightened because what's to stop a large number of people coming up here?
Unfortunately, the atmosphere in town has meant that we've had to not do certain activities. Since lockdown, we've already done one litter pick around our local area, which is really important to us because we like to keep it clean and tidy. And the residents also like to, we all like to have a bit of fresh air, and it's part of our whole activities programme is looking after our own environment. We were due to do another litter pick next week, but I'm not prepared to take the residents out in the environment that it is at the moment. So I feel sorry for them, I feel sorry for the local people, but I'm not prepared to put them in that situation. Them or myself, actually.